What is going on? What is going on, Niner fans? You know what? Niners didn't make the playoffs this year, as you know, but playoffs were fun. Playoffs were pretty good to watch. I don't know if you guys watched some playoff football this weekend. Games were really nice. They were pretty engaging. LA and Philly down to the wire. Unfortunately, Philly came through. They had a little bit more in them. Turnovers were the name of the game for both of these games. You know, the team that wins the turnover battle usually wins playoff games. And I'm telling you, man, Philly, that defensive line, that O-line, that was nasty, the trenches, that's where they really won this game. And the defense, they came up with some clutch plays, and just the Rams didn't have enough when it mattered most, So, a little bit of fumbles here from Kyron Williams. That was rough. And then in the Ravens game, they had the fumbles from Mark Andrews, and then the drop 2-point conversion. Oh, rough. Lamar threw He threw an interception, and turnovers got the best of them. 3 turnovers in that one. And now we're set. We got the Final Four, Kansas City versus Buffalo. And then we're all rooting for Josh Allen. And then on the other side, you have the Commanders versus the Eagles. A lot of people have discounted the Commanders. Everybody's counting them out, but not me. I got JD5, man. I'm going to be rooting for the kid, young Buck, the rookie of the year, most likely for sure. But this guy is just unflappable. He's so calm. He's cool, collected. Just watching him, I was like, he doesn't play like a rookie. It's fun to watch, So I'm hoping that Washington pulls the upset off. Obviously, we don't like the Eagles. Their fan base is terrible. And if the Eagles win, it's going to be this, that, and the other. A lot of John and gibbering, and you know how their fans are. And they've been to a lot of NFC Championship games. I think they have one more over the last decade than the Niners, or last 2 decades of the Niners, like 8-7, something like that. And right now, we don't want to see them win a Super Bowl, because if they win a Super Bowl, it's going to be insufferable from their fans. So, and we don't want to see the Chiefs win a Super Bowl, right? Because three-peat, oh, man, it'll be totally talked about for days and weeks and months, and the NFL will not let us live it down. So, really hoping Josh Allen can pull it off next week. He beat Josh Allen and the Bills. They did beat the Chiefs a couple weeks ago. Sorry, this season. It was close. They beat them. The Bills beat them once, but can they beat them twice? That's the big key. Is can you beat Mahomes and Andy Reid and Spags 2 times in a year? Beat them once. Can you beat them twice? Will their luck run out? The Chiefs seem to get a lot of luck. We all know they get a little bit of help, but they're a good team. Can't hate them, can't deny them, because they win games. They find ways to win, although they do get a little bit of help, as we noticed. And the Bills, they just got a great team, man, and it's going to be a hell of a game. And then again, on the other side of the things, Philly, they're a fierce, an aggressive, just a gritty team. And then you got the Commanders. They got the underdog mentality, nothing to lose, everything to gain. And you got a young buck quarterback who's not afraid to go and make big plays. So we'll see. How we feeling? Josh Allen going to get the MVP, says Rashad. I think so. I think he will. I don't think this game should have decided anything, because you're in the playoffs already, and usually it's a regular season award. But if this game does have any bearings, I think you can really make the case that Josh Allen is the MVP. It's close. I mean, Lamar's a great player. It's unfortunate. I feel bad for Lamar, actually, watching that game and seeing Mark Andrews make those mistakes down the end of the game, critical junctions. Lamar did make some mistakes himself too, but he was able to clean it up and put this team in position to tie the game at the end. And then Mark Andrews just absolutely sells it. I could not believe it. He's supposed to be one of the top tight ends in the league. I'm sure pressure got to him, but in that moment, you are one of the best at your position. You have to make that catch, man. That's frustrating. MSQ says narrative will have the Bills Mafia win since Allen got engaged with Haley Steinfeld. I mean, hey, I'm down with that. Jalen Hurts is Jimmy Garoppolo, but as a running quarterback. What's up, David? If you ask me right now, I trust JD more than Hurts. Yeah, I really trust JD5, man. He's a young quarterback. He hasn't even hit his peak. He's still learning and developing. He's got so much talent. They're playing hot. They got a lot of electricity. They got a lot of momentum just coming out of there. Jalen Hurts, he knows how to get to the Super Bowl. They've done it before. He's the veteran. Although sometimes you look at him, you're like, man, makes weird decisions. But he's been banged up here and there this year. But you can't count him out in this game. He's got the veteran. He's got the edge over Jaden Daniels in that end. But Jaden, man, again, he's just so calm. He's cool, collected. But it is going to be in Philly. It's a hostile environment. Playing in a hostile environment is a whole different situation than what he's been up against, with certain games here. But Detroit, you were on the road against a big team, the number 1 seed. Nobody thought Washington was winning that one, except maybe Washington. And they came and they dominated. So they look good in that game. Chris says, first time since 2003 co-MVPs. Last time was Peyton Manning and Steve McNair. You think they'd give a co-MVP award this year? Possibly. I wouldn't hate it, but I want to see them just pick a definitive MVP. Give it to Josh. I think he deserves it this year. I mean, Lamar has him. He's got a couple. I won't say if Lamar wins the MVP, it's well deserved. But I think Josh Allen deserves a MVP this year. Give it one, man. He beat Patrick Mahomes this year, and him and his team, So Barkley carrying the Eagles, he absolutely is. He's definitely carrying that team. He's fantastic. That little run to the left side where he gushed it for pretty much the game-sealing touchdown as it stands now, that was unbelievable. He looked at Hurts. He just gave him the eye. I think he told him, like, we're gonna get that. Like, he knew I think he felt it. He was gonna get that touchdown. I was like, wow, chills when they showed that replay. And he looked at he looked at Hurts and he winked at him like, we got this. I don't want the Chiefs to 3-peat either, Renee. Barkley definitely carrying. Who do I got in the Super Bowl? Renee wants to know. I have, hopefully, this is what I want to see. I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going to say the Bills and the Commanders. That's who we all want. That's who we all want. We all want to see the Bills and the Commanders, man. If it's not the Bills and the Commanders, I'm going to be sick to my stomach during the Super Bowl. That's all I know. Barkley did carry them all season, for sure. Hot take, not really. Nick Foles is a better Eagles quarterback than Jalen Hurts. He's got the Super Bowl win, right? People love Nick Foles. They love Nick Foles out there. Let's hope the Commanders versus the Eagles is not a repeat of when the rookie quarterback like Brock got hurt. Oh, don't even. Please don't. Please. Oof. No, can't. Nope. The Chiefs are going to find a way to cheat. They probably will. That's what they do, right? Jalen Hurts is literally a game manager with an elite supporting cast. Don't be blinded by Philly's success. If you look at it, sometimes he's, like this year, like Saquon Barkley, like you said, he's carried that team. Saquon Barkley has truly made it so much easier for Jalen Hurts to do what he needs to do. And that offensive line gives him time. You got A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. He definitely has a great supporting cast. But every quarterback needs to have a good supporting cast. Like Brock Purdy, right? They people would say it's Brock and the Avengers. But you got to have talent to an extent. But you're right. I think there's times where you look at Jalen and you're like, oh, man, what is he doing, right? He makes some weird passes and holds the ball sometimes, takes the hits. But he's good enough with this team to lead them and manage them. Like you said, game manage. So at the end of the day, he's taken this team to very, big games and NFC Championship games and Super Bowls. So, right now we can't hate outside the club. I'm going to try to not to hate because right now they're in the NFC Championship game and I'm not going to sit here and be puffing my chest and be bougie. Oh, my God, the Niners. But, hey, hopefully the Niners are back next season, and I feel really optimistic about this team next year. We got an easy schedule, and I think that's really going to help us get back on track, build our confidence. The Niners need to build their confidence because their confidence was shot this year. So Anthony says, with the Rams defensive line, we need to step up our O-line. Yeah, man, that was one of the biggest takeaways, not just the Rams, because obviously they're a division opponent. That defensive line has been absolutely stout, and that's why they really were able to win that NFC West. You watch Jared Verse and Brendan Fiske and those defensive linemen they really had a hell of a draft, and they stacked that line. The Niners' O-line was bad, and if they're going to have to continue to play against teams like the Rams in their division, against those guys who are only getting better, they were only rookies this year, it's going to be a long, road to winning that division. So I agree. And then you got the Eagles, whose D-line looks really good, and a lot of other of these teams, they've really fortified their trenches, and that's where the 49ers O-line, D-line just lacked. They lacked a lot. So Rashad says, who do I have, Ohio State or Notre Dame? I think Notre Dame's going to win tomorrow. I think they're going to shock the world, pull off the upset on Ohio State. I think the Irish are going to win that game. I think the Ohio State's a better team. Obviously, they're the favorite, and I think if you pick them, it's not a bad pick. I think a lot of people are going to want to see Ohio State win, but I just have a feeling Notre Dame's coach, I really like the guy. I think he's going to be ready for this game, and he's going to outcoach Day, and we're going to see a Notre Dame championship. It's going to go crazy if he does. If If Notre Dame, who doesn't have a conference, wins the first ever playoff-led NFC or NCAA championship game, it's going to be panic. People are going to be like, oh my God, it's going to be crazy, man. I hope Notre Dame wins that game tomorrow for sure. If only Purdy had half the protection Hurts has, for sure. I tell you, man, Purdy's O-line pales in comparison to Jalen Hurts' offensive line. Like, that is crazy. I mean, again, Purdy regressed this season. He didn't look too great at times this year, but he also didn't have a lot of time in the pocket. You give him time, he's going to dissect you up. He's going to pick you apart, and he's a good quarterback. You got to give him time, man. That's the thing. I know Purdy's doesn't have the arm talent of a Josh Allen, Lamar, and Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. Doesn't have that arm talent, but he's a good, accurate thrower of the ball. When he has time, he's a good decision maker when he has time. But when he's rushed and flushed, we saw what happened this year. He makes errant passes. He gets a little ahead of himself, and he makes mistakes. Every quarterback, when they're under pressure, they're going to, make mistakes. You get a little happy feet, and you start panicking, and you try to play hero ball. And that's what happened with Brock today or this year. So get him an O-line. I think it'll help him out a lot for sure. Rashad says, I got Ohio State winning by a field goal. Let's see, man. I hope it's a good game. This has been a good weekend of football. Let's hope it finishes tomorrow with the good NCAA championship. So, my man Beast Mode says, Barkley carrying so hard he got Brown reading books on the sideline. Bro doesn't even need to play. Barkley's playing that good. I'd be reading too. That's funny. Steven Reynolds said, Matt Miyoko said, don't expect the 49ers to go out and pay big bucks for an offensive lineman to step into starting lineup. Yeah, I see that. They like to develop their own linemen through the draft. They have a Ben Barch guy they really like. Maybe they'll bring him back, but he's been banged up. That's his issue. I could see them going and get a free agent, but it's not going to be like this massively overpriced guy because the 49ers have brought in free agents in the past, Alex Mack and, a couple other guys, Dan Kilgore. Like, they've brought in people, Weston Richburg, but they don't always pay. Weston Richburg was a crazy contract, so that negates what I just said. But in the grand scheme of things, they will probably get an offensive lineman, but I don't know if they're going to go after like this top tier guy. I think they should. I think we all want them to. I think we all want them to draft an offensive line and really retool this O-line. Because again, watching these playoffs, you see the trenches. You put money in, you put talent, and you build through that, you're going to win a lot of games. Like, you need a good offensive line, bottom line. And like you guys said earlier, to go up against the Rams, you're going to need an O-line to counteract their great defensive line. So I hope they spend some money on the offensive line, man. So we'll see. The Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, will be better than the Super Bowl if they add the Chiefs to the Super Bowl, said Rashad. I don't think anybody wants to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but it's going to be, I don't know, man. It's going to be good to see the Bills and the Chiefs. I really want to see Kansas City go down. I really want to see my boy Josh Allen, but you don't know, man. You know how it goes. You know the refs. We'll see. I'll definitely be talking about that game this week, and then we'll go live and everything next week. But I'm excited. NFC and AFC Championship game weekend next week. It's kind of bittersweet because last year we were sitting here getting ready for our NFC Championship. You had the Niners and the Lions. We were so hyped up. I remember we had just came back, beat the Packers. Like, the vibes were amazing. I miss those vibes, man. I really do. And I hope that next season we get back to it, because today it was great watching these games. It was fun. It was less stress, it was definitely stress-free today, but you knew something was missing. You're just missing that Niner football vibe out there. And it's fun when the Niners play, and have a big game, and then you hope they win. And, I know the stress is tough on you, and you're like, anxiety, and you're just like pacing and whatever you do. And your nerves are on edge, but when you win and you feel that amazing like excitement of holy crap, we're going to the NFC Championship game. If we win that game, we're going to the Super Bowl. Like, that feeling is unmatched, and I hope we can get back to that next season. So, my man Anthony says, is there anyone stopping Barkley at this rate? I don't know if you can stop him. You're just going to have to kind of sort of contain him and hope that you get some turnovers. I think that's the key, is forcing Jalen Hurts to make turnovers. If you can neutralize that, then they're going to have to start throwing the ball. If you can score on their turnovers, then you're going to have to force them to pass. And I think the Washington defense is really good enough. Mike, what's that guy? Mike Sinstrip, the dude from Michigan, that nickelback they have, Washington Commanders. Hold up. Mike Sanstrilli, Sanderstill. You know who I'm talking about. The guy from Michigan. Sanderstill. Mike Sanderstill. That's his name. That dude was clamps this season. He's really good. He's great. They got a really good defense. I think they're a really underrated defense. If you can start forcing, again, Jalen Hurts to make some interceptions and get him uncomfortable, you start flushing him out of the pocket, you get some pressure on him, they're going to not go to, Barkley. You got to get the lead. That's what it is. The Commanders, they're going to be the road team. They're going to be the underdog. You have to neutralize the crowd. That's easier said than done, right? You have to go take out their crowd, get the momentum, make some turnovers, start scoring. Once you get the ball, you have to score. JD5 has to be able to keep that pace up, score the football, and then the defense has to do what it has to do and, prevent Jalen Hurts from making big plays with his legs, force him to pass, force him to make errant throws and get the turnovers, which he can. Jalen Hurts, once he starts messing up, he's easy to read. And that's most quarterbacks. Once they get uncomfortable, they're going to make mistakes. And that's what it is. Then you take away Saquon from the game. Because if they're getting Saquon and he's comfortable and he's getting that ball like today, it's hard to stop. So MSQ said, I want the Niners to draft Kelvin Banks. He has fallen to the Niners in mock drafts, but we'll see. Mocks are mocks. You never know what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. A lot of things are going to be determined, trades, coaches, this, that, all that kind of stuff dictates what happens throughout the rest of the next couple of months. So I would like to see Kelvin Banks too. He's a great offensive lineman. I think you can plug him into this line, start him at tackle right away. He'd be a star, future, Pro Bowl type guy for the 49ers. Him or Will Campbell definitely would be fantastic draft picks for the 49ers. So, but we'll see. Any case, you guys have a good rest of your night. Just wanted to hop in, say what's up. It sucks without the 49ers, but it was a fun day of football. We'll be back tomorrow. National championship. We'll probably hop on, talk to you guys about that. Maybe we'll talk about some drafts soon. But the NFL offseason for everybody is officially almost here. For the 49ers, it's here. Hopefully we get some coaching news this week. I really hope we get some details on what's going to happen, because it's been a little uneasy not knowing who our coaches are going to be. I want to know. I want to get it done. I want to take care of it and get those updates and be excited about the rest of this, 2025 season. So you guys have a good rest of your night. I love you. We'll be live with Larry Krueger this week, later down on Tuesday, I believe. And, business as usual. You guys have a good rest of your night. Go Niners. Next season is our year. I believe it. Take care.